against the official stand of the party by declaring support for the NPP during the 2016 presidential election. And he also made a declaration immediately after that he is no more part of the party. And Mr. Alo Nuhu was also the ex-national organizer of the party. So all these men are ex-members of the party. Therefore, they cannot speak for the party, let alone binding her to a partnership agreement. It is like the European Union wanting to have a partnership agreement with Ghana, and then they send in a delegation. And when the delegation arrives, they go to meet President Fufu at his residence for a long and friendly discussion. After all, his residence was his seat of government during his tenure in office, so there is nothing wrong with that. And then when they return back to Europe, the next morning the press will write that Europe has a partnership agreement with Ghana because a delegation went to Ghana to speak with the ex-president at his residence. So the childish question that will come to everybody's mind is, but where was the current president? Sure, how pathetic can some people be? And how desperate can a government be in search of partnership? And how lazy and biased can some pressmen be? Today, we are going to officially let this country know what is the official stand of the United Front Party after we were wrongfully and selectively excluded to partake in this year's election. So ladies and gentlemen, I will invite my presidential candidate, Dr. Nane Jonim Boateng, to officially let us know what is our stand.
Good afternoon. Many thanks for your patience. We delay a little bit, so I'll go straight ahead. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, I bring you warm greetings from the National Executive Committee of our great party, the Council of Elders, and on our own behalf. You are all aware of the unfair and callous manner in which the Jemensa Ekufuado-led Electoral Commission disqualified our party in the 2020 presidential election. Our effort to get the court to sit on the matter is not yielding, and the election is just 6 days from today. We have therefore called on you here to declare support and endorse His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the NDC in the upcoming presidential election. Our party arrived at this conclusion at a just ended National Executive Committee meeting. We are therefore calling on all our rank and file and all the party supporters to canvass votes and also vote massively for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama in the presidential election. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know how things have deteriorated in our country over the last 4 years. Every sector of the economy is moving in the wrong direction under this incompetent and inept government headed by President Akufo-Addo. We therefore have a responsibility as a political party to work hard to remove this government from office as a matter of urgency. The level of corruption, incompetence, state of insecurity, nepotism, family and friends, and the height of deception by the Akufo-Addo Sakawa government is seeking to say the least. We are therefore using this platform to plead with all Ghanaians to join the rescue mission and vote massively for John Dramani Mahama to put this country back to the path of progress and development. Ladies and gentlemen, we are all living witness to the 4 years of John Mahama and the 4 years of current Nana Addo Dankwa MPP administration. And we all agree that the President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo will go down in the history of as a worst president and most corrupt president this country has ever seen. President Akufo-Addo, who won the 2016 election on the deceitful slogan of incorruptibility and promised to fight the canker and voted for, has become the biggest enabler of corruption and fighting back at the people fighting corruption. Today, Ghana is ranked among the 3 most corrupt countries in the world under President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. This is certainly not what we voted for, and not for the Ghana we want to our children and generation yet unborn. A reason we need to vote against Akufo-Addo today. Anas Awimiyaw Anas, Manasi Azuri, Domi Levo, and the citizen vigilantes, Mr. Martin Amidu, are all hiding in the fear of their dear lives for exposing corruption under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. The mother of all serpents, of all corruption. Ladies and gentlemen, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is corrupt and must be kicked out come December 7th. Ladies and gentlemen, we all saw former President Mahama, how he dealt with corruption during his tenure. Vicky Hama was sacked for merely professing an ambition. Abu Gapele, in the Jida scandal, is in jail today. Monies in the Airbus branding was all retrieved back to the state. This is the leader Ghana needs, not the corruption-clearing agents like Akufo-Addo. Ladies and gentlemen, healthcare delivery continues to be a very critical sector in our economy. You remember during the peak of the COVID-19 fight, President Akufo-Addo, ladies and gentlemen, healthcare delivery continues to be very critical sector in our economy. The fight, President Akufo-Addo promised to build 88 district hospitals before the end of this year. Where are those hospitals? A government that has borrowed so much, yet does not have a single hospital to show for, is calling on us to renew his mandate. To do what? Not a single district hospital, not a single regional hospital, not a single teaching hospital has been built under this government. We have indeed wasted our 4 years for nothing. We all saw health facilities, CHIP compound, polyclinic, district hospitals, regional hospitals, and major teaching hospitals, including the University of Ghana Medical Center, that were built under John Dramani Mahama administration. Ladies and gentlemen, for improved healthcare delivery and better healthcare facility, let us vote for John Dramani Mahama, number 2, Commissioner General. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghana is living under a deceitful leadership of President Akufo-Addo. A government that promised never to borrow has borrowed over 140 billion and yet has nothing to show for it. You remember the Vice President Bawumia, then in opposition, said the money to develop Ghana is right here in the Bank of Ghana. I know for a fact because I have worked there before. Today, the IMF has projected Ghana debt to GDP ratio at whooping 76.7% by the end of 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, President Akufo-Addo has returned Ghana back to the HIPIC, and yet he has no significant project to show for. This government has not built a single new school, not a major hospital, not single university, not single water treatment plant. All you see and hear about are the public toilet, which are the responsibility of the assembly men and the assembly members. Ladies and gentlemen, all this money has been wasted to pay 125 ministers and to finance the president's private jet rental of $17,000 per hour. So sad. Whilst the country has a presidential jet, the records and the statistics shows that the President Akufo-Addo government borrows average 1.5 million every 1 hour since they took office in January 2017. This government borrowing is sinking the economy of Ghana. The reason this country needs to rescue from the hands of these incompetent hands who only think about themselves and family and friends. We all saw the massive infrastructure development under the previous John Dramani Mahama administration, who borrowed just 56 billion. If I am asked to choose between the two, the choice is obvious. Let's vote for John Dramani Mahama, the nation builder. Ladies and gentlemen, education was one of the major issues the 2016 election were fought on. A government that promised free quality education is today delivering a double-track free education, where children stay in school 6 weeks and stay home for 3 months. This is certainly not the kind of secondary education we want for our children. Nana Addo Akufo-Addo government has not shown any commitment to removing the double-track shift system. The double-track system must to be abolished immediately. The reason we support John Dramani Mahama to win this year's election. He has shown more than enough commitment towards the removing of the double-track system. We want our children to go to school at the same time and come home at the same time. Ladies and gentlemen, performance in the education center cannot only be restricted to secondary education. The NPP tradition from Buzia to Kufuor to President Akufo-Addo has not built a single public university. To create access to higher learning and tertiary education for the poor in our society. Ladies and gentlemen, the NDC has built 7 out of the 10 public universities in Ghana, and the other 3 by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Mills Mahama administration gave Ghana 4 new public universities. This is certainly a government that has the education of each citizen at heart. Under the John Mahama government administration, you recall that top WASI in the whole of the West Africa for 4 consecutive years. Sometimes President Akufo-Addo has failed at. Ghana has inspired hope in education in the sub-region, but all our gains in this direction over the last 4 years under President Akufo-Addo has been lost. Ghana education needs to be put back on its glory days. Let us restore excellence to the education sector by voting John Dramani Mahama on December 7. Ladies and gentlemen, the state of insecurity under this government is another reason to vote this violent government out of office. The state of insecurity, lawlessness under President Akufo-Addo and his inability to have them resolved is a great threat to our peace. The impunity with which some of these crimes are committed, nothing is done, is very worrying. You recall that the attack on a court in Kumasi by vigilante groups, and nothing was done to them. at the office of the president, we saw how a senior police officer was brutalized by the same vigilante group. And nothing was done about this. Ayawaso by-election violence, where some members of this opposition were shot and a sitting member of parliament was slapped by some of these hoodlums and thugs under the guise of national security, all went unpunished. Ladies and gentlemen, the Takrady missing guests, whose issue till today have not been brought to book, shows Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has failed as a commander-in-chief of Ghana Armed Forces and the chairman of the National Security Council, the gruesome murder of the innocent Ghanaian at the high rate of armed robbery in the last 4 years under President Akufo-Addo leaves much to be desired. Ghanaians are not safe under this incompetent Sakawa government, and it is therefore a social responsibility of all Ghanaians to help kick out this government. Enough is enough. Today, journalists do not have the freedom to work and speak out. The closing down of major opposition radio stations and the murder of Ahmed Swale are all signs of failing democracy under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. All our democratic gains under the Fourth Republic have all been eroded. The man who became president under the deceitful mantra of human rights champion is today intimidating every Ghanaian who criticizes his government. Ghana certainly deserves better, and to restore hope of freedom and justice, we need to vote out President Akufo-Addo and his 125 incompetent ministers. Ghana deserves better. We need to work together to put back on the track of progress with equal opportunity for all Ghanaians. Today in Ghana, if you don't belong to a certain family or don't have a certain name, you are denied every opportunity in this country. We cannot continue on this path. We need to create a Ghana that will work for all, both rich and poor, children and adults, the feeble and strong. We can only achieve or build such a Ghana by voting against this incompetent, inept, and nepotism Akufo-Addo government. Ladies and gentlemen, let us vote massively for John Dramani Mahama to put Ghana back on the track of growth, prosperity, and progress for all. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot repeat the mistake of 2016 again. In 2020, 4 years is enough to destroy this country beyond repairs. We have seen how business have been deliberately collapsed under this wicked president Akufo-Addo. So sad. And it is coinciding job losses today. It is difficult to afford a 3 square meal under Akufo-Addo. When you complain about everything, they tell you free senior high. Yes, we know it is a good policy, poorly implemented, but that is not the solution to all our problems. Our youth need jobs, permanent jobs, not the temporary jobs that have been created. Our mothers need decent healthcare facilities when they are in labor. Today, go to Kolebu, you will see pregnant women who are lying on the floor to be delivered. Ghana needs expansion of our healthcare delivery system to create more access and end to the no-birth syndrome that has taken many of their early graves. We cannot allow ourselves to be deceived. Again, Ghana must work again and if it will happen, we have to jealously protect the democracy our forefathers bequeathed to us by voting John Dramani Mahama. Ladies and gentlemen, during our tour of this country, all Ghanaians keep saying is change, change, change. Ghana cannot survive another 4-year term of President Akufo-Addo. Let us rescue this nation together. We will also plead with the Electoral Commission not to rush to declare result. They should give us a free and fair election. Election have brought chaos in many countries, and we pray that we all go to the polls. Let all responsible citizens ensure peace before and after the election. But we should also know that there cannot be peace if there is no justice. We are by this presser informing the general public, however, that UFP, United Front Party, will support all these NDC parliamentary candidates as well. Ladies and gentlemen, the victory of John Dramani Mahama is imminent, and we call on all Ghanaians to vote massively for him, for massive development, and to put Ghana back on the path of progress and happiness. A vote for John Dramani Mahama is a vote for quality education. Schools, hospitals, roads, interchanges, expansions in electricity, expansions in water supply, markets, universities, educate your youth, and many more. Vote John Dramani Mahama, number 2. Long live Ghana, long live John Dramani Mahama, long live United Front Party. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nana Jenim Boatin. You could not have said it all. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to add a few things to what he just said. This election is one of the most crucial elections this country has ever witnessed, if not the most crucial election. In this year's election, we have 2 presidential candidates that have had the opportunity to serve this country. So this is not an election that is about promises, but it's an election of accountability. An election in which each candidate has to tell this nation what they did when they had the privilege to serve. Too often what we hear in the news, in the media, is that we should allow the NPP to continue and give us innovative social interventions. But then when we ask them, what are these innovative social interventions? What we often hear are that they are free SHS, 1D, 1F, planting for food and jobs, free water, free electricity, introduction of the teacher training allowance, the reintroduction of it, removing the incubation period of the NHIS, and then integrating the NHIS card with the national ID card. They tell us this without giving us details, actually, of what they have done. But on the 29th of this month, of November 2020, the regional minister of the Ashanti region, Mr. Simon Osei Mensah, detailed what the achievements of the NPP has been in the last 4 years for the Ashanti region specifically, and also for the entire nation. And he did so on the Kumasi-based Hello FM. And this is what he said for the agri sector. He said that motorbikes, 559, has been given to the region in 4 years. That is the achievement. Nissan pickups, 30. Toyota Hilux, 2. Toyota Prado, 1. Now, let's submit this to our brothers and sisters in the farming industry. What do they need to have a successful farming year? Tractors or Prados? He went on to explain that on other sectors, 1 district, 1 warehouse, 13. Waste dump sites that were cleared, that is, maybe a 2 ball ago, 9 in 4 years. Drones. And then the rest of the achievements during the 4 years were sword cutting. Sword cutting for the Kumasi-Obuasi Railroad, done. The other achievements were promises. A promise to commission the Otumfuo Greenhouse Village very soon. And then a promise to take the brilliant students of the Akumadan Greenhouse College to Israel to learn how to cultivate cucumbers. These, he said, among other things, were what the Ashanti region received in 4 years of administration of the NPP. And for the national achievement of the NPP, he said it was the free SHS. But I want us to reason for a second. Free SHS appeared in the 2012 and the 2016 manifesto of the NPP. And in 2017, when Oforiatta told this nation that they were rolling out the free SHS program, we believed it to be free. But when early this year, he went to Parliament and told this nation that the free SHS program has cost us 3.5 billion Ghana cedis. And then we said, wait a minute, what does free mean? According to the Merriam-Webster's dictionary, free is an adjective, and it means free. It means no costing, no charging anything. And the Cambridge Dictionary tells us that free is an adjective, but can also be an adverb. And it means no charge, costing nothing, or not needing to be paid for. So in other words, the program called Free SHS was free when it started, until we knew the cost. The cost was 3.5 billion Ghana cedis. So I'll plead with you, friends from the media, to let people of this country know that the psychological damage to keep referring to something that you pay for as free is that it prevents you from asking for accountability. How can you ask someone to be accountable for something he's giving you for free? But when you realize that you have paid for, then it is your right to ask for accountability. And then we shall realize for the first time that we have been scammed. So what does it mean? Does it mean that education should only be reserved to the rich? How can this nation make education available to all? A nation that has uneven distribution of her resources. Our constitution, the 1992 Constitution, tells us how. And let's read it. At the Article 25 of the Constitution, it tells us how this country should make education available to all. It tells us this, that all persons shall have the right to equal education, opportunities, and facilities. With a view to achieving the full realization of that right, what should we do? So the Constitution tells us that education is our right. It is not a gift from someone. But how do we make this right available for all? The Constitution tells us how. It tells us this, that basic education shall be free, compulsory, and available. The framers of the constitutions were not fools. They knew that for you to be able to give something to someone, that thing should first of all be available. And then once it is available, we make it compulsory. And the only impediment for making it compulsory are the school fees. And therefore, we should waive it and make it free. That is why the first president, after this constitution was promulgated, ensured that a lot of basic school facilities will be built. And he built them. And when President Kufuor took over, he did not build them, but he enhanced them, both the primary schools and the GHS. And what do we do with the secondary schools after we have solved the need of the primary schools? The Constitution goes on to tell us this. Secondary education, in its different forms, including technical and vocational educations, shall be made generally available and accessible to all by every appropriate means, and in particular, by a progressive introduction of the free education. Here again, the cardinal requirement was the availability of it, and then accessibility of it by all means possible. What does it mean? It means that now the demographic setup of the country has changed a lot. In some communities where in the past there were not a lot of people inhabiting, now there are. And maybe the secondary schools were built far away from that community by then. The Constitution is telling us that once it is available, we should also make it accessible. And to make it accessible, it means that sometimes we have to transport all the students to that establishment and bring them back. That is one way of making them accessible. Another way is to build in new schools into the new communities that have been created. After all, if it is not accessible, or if it is not available, how do you make it free? Every political program that does not carry along with it the means to achieve them is a fraud. And after all, how can you give someone something you don't have? So if the schools were not available, how do you make them free? That is why President John Dramani Mahama took it upon himself to build more schools. And when he knew that a certain number of schools were then available, he announced in 2015 that it was ready now to move on to the next stage of making them free for everyone. Now, in view of all this, the United Front Party cannot be part of that scam, and therefore we declare the following. And this is to add to what my presidential candidate just said. After a thorough study of both presidential candidates, that is President John Dramani Mahama and President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, in their respective 4 years in office, as president and as stewards of the resources of this land, we declare the following: that John Dramani Mahama indebted this nation in 4 years an amount of 54 billion Ghana cedis. And in exchange of that, what did he give us? He gave us the following projects: completed projects, markets, schools, airports, roads, circle, and Kaswa interchanges, hospitals, Temaport expansion, the Teshi Water Project, and many more. Not completed projects. He gave us the Afari Military Hospital, 77 E blocks that were not built, and the Temamoto Way interchange, and many more. These were the projects that were not completed. And virtual projects. By virtual projects, we mean those projects that were stated in the manifesto or were publicly declared, but somehow they were not realized, or they were realized in part. A promise to build 200 U-blocks, but he was able to initiate 123, and 46 were completed fully. Now, let's analyze what this nation received under President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has indebted this nation over 146 billion Ghana cedis. And in exchange, he has given us so far completed projects the Tema Motorway interchange. But here we have to emphasize that this project started and the funds were made available under the administration of President John Dramani Mahama. Because we could not locate all the projects that this government has completed, we have to rely on the statement of the sector minister, and we believe it when he said it.